You see, torturers were often not chosen for strength, intelligence, or loyalty. They were usually just available. Maybe they were strong enough to lift heavy tools. Maybe they had no family, no one to object. Or maybe they simply had nowhere else to go. Villagers whispered about them. Children avoided eye contact. Even the guards who delivered prisoners rarely lingered. And yet the torturer had to keep logs. Yes, actual written logs of everything he did. Every confession, every scream, every time someone fainted. These had to be written with a quill, in poor lighting, often after midnight. It was exhausting. Most people imagine iron maidens and racks, but in truth, many tools were dull, crude, rusty. Things broke often, chains stuck. Pulleys creaked. And the torturer, he was expected to fix them himself. There was no lavender soap, no minty oils. Just damp air, sweat, old ropes, and whatever was rotting in the corners. The air clung to his clothes, to his hair. Even after washing in the river, which he rarely had time to do, the scent followed him like a shadow. He wasn't just the torturer, he was the repairman. The toy sat in his room for years, never touched. The cleaner, the log keeper, and sometimes even the bucket carrier. Some mornings, he'd wake up with sore hands, stiff knees, and a splinter in his thumb from handling the same wooden handles for years. Who walked the streets with sacks of twitching tails and scratchy squeaks. Who had to store, count, and feed hundreds of slimy leeches in buckets of murky water. He often woke up to find they'd escaped in the night. Always itching, always smelling slightly of vinegar and something worse. And guess what? No one thanked him. These poor workers, the unseen, the underpaid, the truly unlucky, were just trying to get through the day. One quiet complaint at a time. Let's talk about the smell. His fingers ached, his back hurt, and he hadn't spoken to another soul all day. Pulled his knees up tight and dreamed quietly of being a shoemaker instead. Torture chambers weren't sanitized. Imagine going to bed with the scent of mildew, iron, and regret. That was nightly life for the medieval torturer. He couldn't eat in the tavern. He wasn't invited to festivals. And when he walked through the market square, people cleared the path. Some even crossed themselves, as if his presence was a curse. He once tried to give a child a small wooden toy he carved from leftover scraps. The child dropped it and ran. But he wasn't the only one with a terrible medieval job. There was the gong farmer, the man who cleaned out latrines and cesspits. He worked at night, knee-deep in filth, and no one ever remembered his name. Then there was the rat catcher, and don't forget the leech keeper, so yes. While knights were polishing their swords and nobles were drinking wine, by the time the torturer blew out his candle at night, no one told him good job. No one said goodnight. But he wrapped himself in a wool blanket. And so, in the deep silence of the medieval night, while the castle slept above, the torturer sighed and drifted into a boring, well-earned sleep.